date back to 1939 in New York, when a group of business leaders got together and realized that the Depression had created a long-term unemployment problem for, in many cases, people with a lot of managerial or professional experience. So they decided they needed to figure out a way to address it, and they founded the first 40 Plus in 1939. Those people were Tom Watson, the founder of IBM, James Cash Penney, the founder of JCPenney, and Norman Vincent Peale, the author of The Power of Positive Thinking, among others. And the concept spread around the country. The Washington chapter was founded in 1953. So our organization will turn 65 next year. We've been for ourselves a birthday party, so stay tuned. And the 40 Plus is and always has been an all-volunteer organization devoted to helping mid-career professionals make successful job transitions. And we run 3 basic programs. On Mondays, we have a free speaker series every Monday morning at 10 o'clock. We have a speaker who talks usually on a topic of relevance to job seekers. Once a month on a Thursday, like tonight, we have a setup like this where we have a speaker usually speaking on a somewhat broader topic sometimes, but often, again, very relevant to people making a job transition. And then our main program is a training course, which we run, which is a 4-week program that meets 13 times over 4 weeks for a total of 43 hours, where we try to teach people the skills they need in order to compete in today's job market. So we focus on how to present yourself, how to write a better resume, how to answer interview questions better. And so that's, as I said, the main thing that we do. So I would invite you all back for a Monday morning meeting if you can make it, or come to the next one of these, which will happen in about 5 weeks' time. So with that, I just did want to point out that in the chair, the blue piece of paper is called a Taste of 40 Plus, and it's a new thing that we're going to try, which is to give people a little taste of one of the most popular features of our training program, which is video mock interviews. So we put people in front of a video camera and we video them while they answer questions that are often designed to make them uncomfortable. They do. And people find it.
We ask, what are the questions you wish you
what are the ones you really don't want to be asked? And that's what we ask. That is something that I think people find very revealing in a lot of different ways, and we thought we would try to make a little program to offer people that have been through the course a little taste of what that's like. So with that, I'm going to turn the program up to Ken, who will introduce our speaker, and thank you very much.
But before I do that, and to help Michelle kind of get a feel for who's here, we're going to do 40 plus. We're going to do introductions 40 plus style. What does that mean?
Teammate.
No, don't do that. We want to get out of here by time. No, we want to be quick and efficient. So this is a recipe for 40 plus style introductions. Name, profession or field, and then you just get 3 words to describe yourself. Either who you are professionally, personally, who's there, or perhaps what brought you here tonight, how you're feeling, those kind of things, okay? So we're going to be quick because you're here to hear Michelle, right? But we want to give her a sense of who else is here. So I'll start. Ken Shopman, association exec, and my 3 words are creative, caring, service. Okay? Ron?
Ron Evansberger, cybersecurity, and my 3 words are tenacious, detail-oriented. That's hyphenated. I don't want to count this.
Come on.
Fun. Good. And our other Ron?
I'm Ron Moore. I'm an IT project manager. And my 3 words, I'll say sense of humor.
Phraseology, this is great. Hello, Carla.
I'm Carla. I am a meeting planner, and my 3 words are just real quick. Organized, introspective, and I can't think of a third word.
TBD. Okay. Jim.
I'm Jim Gandorf, Association Executive. I guess my 3 words would be transitioning executive leader.
Cool. Hi.
Hi, I'm Angela. My husband, I guess, background is government relations. My 3 words are, I will say also creative. I will say,
Global? Global?
yes, global. But I will also say, curious.
There we go.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Danielle. My field, education,
Right.
workforce development, MBA. Integrator, educator, innovation.
Love it. Hi.
Eileen Weinberger, education, cutting edge, innovative, and multicultural.
Oh, 2 hyphenated words.
I started the trend.
Okay, hi.
I'm Jenny Herman. I'm an attorney and I would say also in the political realm. And I'm going to do phraseology. New DC resident.
Very good. Linda.
My name is Linda Gross. I'm a freelancer right now trying to get back into the real working world. 3 words to describe myself: analytical, crafty, and helpful.
Very good.
I'm Eric Herding, and I'm a reformed corporate finance executive. And tonight, my 3 words are curious, analytical, and perceptive.
Wonderful. Gina.
My name is Gina Manley. I'm an events and operations guru, and my 3 words are hopeful for 2018.
Political connection, wins going on here. Joy.
My name is Joy, humorous, happy, etc.
And for you, Jim? Behind the scenes?
Jim Chamberlain, retired Lung Association health educator. My 3 words are Toastmaster, pop-up, and brilliant.
Of course. So, Michelle, I hope they give you a sense of lots of creative people.
Well, what about me?
Yes, ma'am. No, this is much better than you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
before you can introduce me.
Please.
Michelle Proctor, and I am a change agent. My 3 words are innovative, creative, and commit.
Wonderful. Oh, he's creative. So let me tell you a little bit more about Michelle, and then I'll let her take things over. She is an experienced human resource professional, consultant, and facilitative trainer, with more than 25 years experience, HR management, strategic business, enterprise in the private, public, and nonprofit arenas, including in higher education. Her scope of expertise spans a wide variety of areas, ranging from organizational development and effectiveness, policy development and administration, HR information systems, workforce development, core competencies, the entire spectrum of HR. She's held senior level executive positions at the Airline Pilots Association International, Howard University, as Assistant Vice President for Human Resource Management, and at Executive Transitions International, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Consulting. She's also the founder and president of Rehnquist and Associates, an independent consulting firm in human resources management. Michelle has a background, her education is in personnel management from George Washington University here in DC. She's licensed and is certified in organizational effectiveness and several behavioral assessment tools. She's been on the board of many organizations, including professional associations. She's a member of SHRM, ASTD, ATD, right? And many other professional organizations in the human resources and human capital arena. So we're very delighted that Michelle's here. Thank you.
I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit so I won't block the screen here. And I just have my notes here just so I won't forget some key things I want to share with you. So we're here today to talk about staying in demand, marketing and promoting yourself in today's competitive environment. And I always like to try to start off any kind of session that I give a story, and a story about me. Now, there are probably about, I don't know how many different stories I have. But I'm going to tell you one, and maybe a couple of others, but this first one in particular about staying in demand. About 10 years ago, I got a call from a very, very dear colleague of mine. And she said, Michele, and this was when I had started my business. I have already started my own consulting business. I've been in consulting now on my own and training, and even with my adjunct professor positions since 1995. I started part-time with that. And then I went full-time after I left Howard University. But part of my story is about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, I got a call from a very, very dear friend of mine. And she said, Michele. I said, yeah, Annabelle, what is it? And you guys might know her, Annabelle Reitman. She's a pretty, everybody knows Annabelle around the education arena because she used to be at UDC, I understand. But anyway, Annabelle called and said, listen, there's a group, a training group that is in dire need of someone to teach writing skills. And she said, now, and I first thought of you, because I know what your background, I know your background isn't in writing per se, but she knew my family background. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. And I said, oh gee, I said, Annabelle, I really don't want to teach writing. She says, but you're so good at it. You're so good at it. Why wouldn't you want to teach it? I said, okay. She said, but you'd be doing me a favor. You'd be doing my friends a favor because they are about to leave DC now with their training business. They're going out to Kansas City, and they want to make sure that they have one of their competencies, you know, in their portfolio, someone that can teach writing skills. Okay. Long story short, I started doing that for them. It has morphed into something bigger than I had ever dreamed. So when anybody around wants to know who's around to do writing skills at any kind of level, they call me. So I'm traveling all over the country teaching writing skills. And then I said, and I mean different levels. I mean from top C-level all the way down to support staff, okay? And I said, you know what? Guess what, everybody? I don't like writing. You think I like it, but I don't like it. I don't like it. And he said, well, you're so good at it. Why don't you like it? I don't like it because it's called a learned behavior. What is a learned behavior? A learned behavior is having your father, who worked for the Washington Post for his entire career, stand over you on Sunday at the dining room table, hammering journalism, English, Latin, and that was the learned behavior. So I said, you know what? If I am going to be doing writing skills, which is just really a part of what I do, my skill sets, I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it fun. And you know what has happened because I know how to make it fun? I beat out the competition. I beat out the competition. So whenever my vendors or former clients want writing, I don't care whether it is in Puerto Rico, whether it's in Canada, all over, I don't care if it's on the East Coast, West Coast, they call me. And the difference is what? I make it fun. By making it fun, I also get fun out of it and I get energized by it. So what is that saying? I want to hear from you. What is that saying when you're talking about staying in demand? But yes.
You're paying attention to the needs of the people on the other end as well as your own needs.
As well as your own needs. So there's a balance there, right? Okay. So let me just ask, the group, what do you want to get out of this session tonight? Because I have a script here, I've got slides here, but I always do that anyway. But I generally go by whatever the group wants. This is just my fallback. This is my plan B. You're my plan A, okay? So what is it that you want to get out of this session? What can I do for you? And I'm going to jot some things down here. What do you want to get out of this big title here, Staying in Demand, Marketing and Promoting Yourself in Today's Competitive Environment? What does that mean to you, and how's it going to help you? What do you want to take away? Yes, Ron.
Coming up with a plan that I feel like I can stick to and follow through with.
Okay, okay. You want a plan that you can stick to. Who else? Yes.
How do you distinguish yourself from everyone else?
To distinguish your, oh, I love that. Because we all have distinction. How to distinguish yourself. Very good. Let me give you another little tidbit here that may help you. I have no problem in sharing any information with anybody. Even the work that I develop. People will call me and say, hey, Michele, do you have any work on EEO compliance? Or have you developed any materials on generational differences or continuous process improvement? I said, yeah. And they'll say, well, look, can I use some of your materials? And I said, sure. Other colleagues say to me, why do you do that? Why are you giving away your work? I said, they don't deliver like I do. I don't have a problem. You can have it all. You can have my entire library. Because what I bring to it is uniqueness, which everybody else will bring their own unique skills. What's wrong with that? I don't see any harm in that. So the distinction here, that's a very good statement. How to distinguish yourself, yes.
How do you take a 25-year career and experience, but then also show yourself as being someone who's fresh and innovative and ready to go and not be knocked off at the beginning?
Yeah, all right. Be fresh and innovative. Right. Okay, anybody else want to share with me? Well, this is good. Okay, well, let's get started. This is going to be like a mini working session, if you don't mind, okay? Because I am not a lecture person. Okay, I like to engage people. I don't care whether I'm giving a 30-minute presentation or a half an hour, 30-minute, an hour, or a full day or 3 days. I like to engage you. So, be ready to rock and roll with me, okay? All right. So first of all, let's look at why do we want to stay in demand, okay? The first one says, to be able to move to the next level. Unfortunately, people always think, or no, I wouldn't say always think, but unfortunately people think that moving to the next level always means what? Going from this level to that level, right? But they never explore going from this level to that level, or from this level to that level, or from this level to that level. Okay? So staying in demand means that you have the flexibility to move within those levels or even outside. Another case in point. Ken told you my background. My degree is in human resources management. I probably do more strategic planning, organizational development, organizational effectiveness than I do human resources management. But guess what that foundation has given me? It has given me inroads to explore all these different areas that support and can support my core competencies. And guess what? I talked about the writing skills, right? Well, in each one of those areas, do I not have to write? I have to write training manuals. Okay, I have to write proposals. Okay, I have to write exercises. So I am looking at expanding all of my skill sets into a brand that I can market myself. Oh yeah, I can do that. I'll get a call from someone and they'll say something like, let me see if I can think of something unique that I was called to do. Well, I'll tell you, the generational issues, although I have millennial grandchildren that, woo, blow my mind at times. But that was a new thing for me. I knew nothing about it except for my own personal experience, you know, dealing with different generations. So what did I do? I just researched. And someone said something about staying on top of things and being fresh. Every time I teach the same course over and over, do you think I'm teaching the same material over and over? No. Even if I taught the course last week and I'm being asked to teach it next week, you know what I do? What do you think I do? I research to do what? What am I researching?
Thinking is about particular
The latest thinking. And guess where do I get most of my input for information? Believe it or not. From the participants in my classrooms. Because each group is unique in and of itself. So a business concept, a business practice, a business principle may come up. I will jot it down and I will research that so that the next time I teach it, even if it's a different group, I have that information. So I'm constantly staying on top of it by doing that. You have to listen to your audience. Okay, releasing your potential. That's another benefit why you should stay in demand. My researching subject matters that I have not had any practical skills in doing on a job, okay, is releasing my potential because I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I'm also helping others see their potential. I had a young lady whose background was in communications. And I was working on this huge project for a major federal agency, right? She didn't have any experience in HR, and I needed someone to do that. Even though I had it, I was, off doing other things. But she was showing an interest in it. And so therefore, guess what I did? I gave her the chance to do it. Okay? So I want to not only release my potential in the ability to identify people's skill sets, so that helps me with people when I can identify that Carla, right, has a specific skill set. Come on, give the encouragement for that person to pursue it. Okay? Becoming memorable. I call this your legacy piece. Why you want to stay in demand. Okay? So think about it. I just want you to take a minute now and look over the course of your career, and I want all of you to at least jot down one thing that you are remembered for in your work experience. At least one. I know there are more, but just start writing one thing you know that you have a legacy on this. You've got this, okay? That you're writing, I know. That's a demand factor. When you can leave an organization, or even if you're still within an organization, and create a memory, a legacy of your contribution to that organization. The next one, becoming a credible resource. What does that mean to you? Becoming a credible resource. What does that mean?
The go-to person?
Excuse me?
The go-to person?
The go-to person. Okay? Is that a demand piece? If you're a go-to person, are you not in demand? Have any of you ever been a go-to person? Oh my goodness, somebody can come up here and talk about this then. You're in demand if you are a resource to people. You don't even have to be a subject matter expert to be a resource to people, okay? You're the go-to person. This is the person I know who will and can help me. And that's part of what I want my legacy to be as far as being memorable. I want to be a resource for folks. Remember I said, I'll give away my information. I don't have a problem with that. I honestly and sincerely do not. Because I want a resource for that. The tagline for my business is a pathway to excellence. And how can I help people excel if I don't propel you, give you that push, that you need to excel and to become resourceful? Definitely this book. Increase your self-confidence and self-esteem. How does staying in demand do that for you? To increase your self-confidence and your self-esteem.
People want you.
People want you. Yeah. Would you believe another little story I have is back in the day, back in the 80s, I never wanted to be promoted into management. You want to know why? I was afraid to talk to people like you guys, to come before a group and talk. Right now, you can't sit me down. I'm as tired as I don't know what right now, and I'm running on adrenaline because I get excited about it now. My early career at the Airline Pilots Association, this is a true story. I was younger by at least 25 years than my counterparts. I was at the highest level as they. I was the only female and the only minority. And when I was being promoted, I declined the job. They had already made the announcement. They did. And when my boss called me in, and he said, I've got good news for you, Michele. You've been working on that. I don't want that. Why? Because I was afraid to talk before groups. I knew I would have to give presentations, reports. I knew I would have to lead discussions because at the time we were in negotiations with labor unions. I'd have to lead all that. No, I didn't want it. I was afraid to do that. Okay? But I said, what my father always said to me, the best way to overcome your fears is to do it. Long story short, I did it. Okay? Got to the point where I was not only giving presentations, I was writing speeches for the president of the university. When the president couldn't do it, I was speaking before the faculty, I was speaking before the staff. Audiences anywhere from 10 people to 2,000 people. All right? And so that built my self-confidence. I used to get really nervous. Right now, the only thing I get nervous about is, am I going to make it there on time? Like today, coming down here, am I going to make it? And then the poor driver was saying to me, I'm sorry, Miss Michele, I'm sorry. That, the traffic. I said, oh, don't worry about it. I said, we'll get there in plenty of time. That's the only thing I worry about now. Am I going to get there in time? And did I forget anything? That's the only thing I worry about now. So, it builds your self-esteem. But what does that last bullet say to you? What does it say?
Roll with the punches and just kind of accept what comes.
Be happy. Okay? Be happy. Find what you are happy doing. Don't do what you are happy with. Is there a difference? Find what you are happy doing. Don't find what you are happy with. Another little story. At the time I left Howard University, I was still pretty young in my career, making 6 figures. I tell no lie, that was amazing. I was making 6 figures, okay? I was happy with the 6 figures. I was happy with the work. But then I realized I wasn't releasing my potential. And I felt suppressed. Sometimes you just got to keep up with me. And Anybody ever work in higher ed?
Mhm.
Oh my God, how slow things move. Can you see, I mean, it just moved too slow for me. And at the time that when I left Howard, I really wanted to do more teaching than the admin work. The president said, no, you're here to really do administrative work as an assistant vice president. We want you to teach in the training academy because that's part of what you do, but you can't do that part-time or full-time. So I had to make that decision to leave because I wasn't maximizing my potential. I was feeling suppressed. And at that point in my life, that part of my career was not making me happy. Okay? So to suffice it to say, I don't make six figures, and you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm surviving. You know, we still have a roof over our heads and everything, and I've been doing this for over 25 years, but I enjoy what I'm doing. Okay? Anybody have any comments on this? Please feel free. Okay? Let's move on. So that's why it's important to stay in demand. What do you really want to do? You know, I hear people say, I don't know what I want to do. Yeah, you do. We just need to find out what it is. I don't know what I want to do. So the problem here is you're looking at something finite. You know, you're looking at something that's probably more tangible. You know, and you know what? Because of how we're conditioned in this society, we're looking for something that other people will approve and say yes to. Okay? Another little story. When I jumped out here on faith, and I was going to one of my girlfriend who, she just buys so much stuff that every now and then she has to get rid of her stuff. Clothes, art, jewelry, antiques. So I grabbed my girlfriend Deborah one day. I said, Deborah, come on, let's go over to Elena's house, and you know, she said, what do you want to go there for? I said, well, she's got some clothes, and I just love her clothes. I love her jewelry. She said, why do you want to buy? She said, why do you want to buy used stuff? I said, it's used, but it's beautiful stuff. You know what she said to me? Well, you wouldn't feel that way or be doing this if you had enough money and by having a real job. I said, a real job? I said, you want to know something, Deborah? This is the most real job I've ever had in life. And she said, what? How could this be the most real job? Because for the first time in my life, I'm making it happen for me. Nobody else is making it happen for me. I'm relying on my potential, my skill set, nobody else. Okay? All right. So, what do you really want? What do you really? Don't think about the finite, that tangible position or career. Let's start thinking about what skills have we used? What are some of the peak areas of happiness in your life, both personally and professionally? So let me just move on from this a bit. The road to success may have twists and turns, but it is always paved with opportunities. Who's the quote? Who quoted it? I mean, you know, right? Okay. All right. I'm talking from the truth here. It does. It has twists and turns, but it's always paved with opportunities. Always paved with opportunities. So, let's help focus on what we really want right now. And I know some of you have pen and paper, so I'm going to ask these questions and see if you can just jot down a couple of things for yourselves. First of all, and if you just have time, just because of time, just jot down one thing. What problems did you solve? Just jot down one thing.
problems did you solve? Okay? What problems did you solve? This is your opportunity roadmap. Now you won't have time to answer this, but you could answer this later when you go back home. How did you solve it? How did you solve those problems? What was the bottom line or impact on the organization with the resolution of this problem that you saw? How did it impact operations? To what degree, qualitatively or quantifiably? What was the impact? What was the impact of that? And this is a very important one right here. Who have you helped along the way? Who have you helped along the way? What are you currently doing now to stay on top of your skills? This is one thing that you're doing, belonging to organizations like this and coming to sessions like this. But what else are you doing to stay on top of your skills? I have promised myself that at least, I was trying it once a month and now I'm probably down to twice a month. I want to learn some new technology. So even, I mean, it's got to be job related because it's going to help me do my job better. And believe it or not, the best resources to keep me on top of this technology are my grandchildren. They know it like I don't know what. Okay? So what are you doing to stay on top of things? What have your contributions been on a team, even if you were not the team lead? We can generally speak to what we did as a team lead. Anybody can. But what about your contributions by being a team member? What did you contribute? What kind of awards, special recognition, or advancements have you received? And there could be a number of things that we could add to this, but these are your career successes. Have you ever looked at it this way? Or have you taken them for granted? Or did you just think they weren't important? But these are your career successes. All right? Okay. Now, another thing I want you to do. I want you to think of in two categories. Both personally and professionally. I want you to list 1, 2, or 3 things under each category that just excited you so much as far as what you got out of it. It could be anything. What 3 career, what do we call highlights? That's what I would call them. Call them 3 career highlights that you had that excited you. What 3 personal highlights in your life excited you? What were they? What were they? What were the 3 things under each category that you were just so excited and just couldn't wait to do it, wait to see it, wait to be there? Now, why do you think listing something like this is helpful for you? What does that do for you? You're thinking, right?
I've just been talking too much, so.
Oh, no, that's okay. Go ahead.
It's just the things that give you, that are passionate. That really fire you up and you want to do more of, or include more in your life.
Yeah, do more of. Is somebody else over here? Yes.
You could use it for job interviews.
Yes. Yes, you can use it for job interviews. Anything else?
I was gonna say, it just helps you understand yourself.
It helps you to understand yourself and make you feel good about yourself. And it motivates you, does it not? You know, everybody has their downtime. Everybody does. Everybody does. You know, sometimes, you know, when I lie in bed and it's time to get up in the morning, I think, oh my God, oh Lord, do I want to really get up out of this bed? And then I go through that process and I said, you know what? Yep, because this is what's going to happen for me today. I'm going to be so excited about, even if it's the most horrible thing that I don't want to do, you know what's going to excite me? Doing it, finishing it, getting it over with, and celebrating that. Right? That's what you do. You do the most awful thing and realize at the end it's over and you can celebrate. You did it. I mean, that's so simple. People don't realize you've got to celebrate those kinds of things to keep you motivated. And, you know, especially when you're in a career transition, you've got to stay motivated. So it's really self-awareness that you've got to realize that's going to be helpful for you. Okay? All right, let's move on. You must take responsibility for your abilities. You must take responsibility. Now, I didn't say that. Who is that? That's somebody else. Miles Monroe. Okay, Miles Monroe said that. He wrote this book on maximizing or unleashing your potential or something like that. And I got that quote. You must take responsibility for your abilities. What does that mean? You have to own what you do. You have to own it. You have to own it. You have to own it. It's yours. You've got, if it's going to happen, you've got to make it happen. You've got to make it happen. Don't let it happen to you. You make it happen. Okay? Also, when you talk about transferable skills, because that was mentioned here, and staying on top of things, and how do I stay fresh, and how do I find that position that I want? First of all, list all of your strengths. List all of your skills, strengths. List them all. And I never, whenever I do career coaching, career planning, workforce development, I never talk about people's weaknesses. You know how I frame it in a positive? I said, well, what opportunities are there for you to grow? What opportunities are there for you to grow? When you're searching for a career, not a job, but when you're searching for a career, you must look at those strengths that you have that match that career path or that position with your skill sets. Got another story for you. My own daughter, who is my reality checker all the time. Okay. My daughter is 45 years old. Oh, that's my son. She's 48, excuse me. My daughter is 48 years old. She was laid off from Verizon Wireless, how many years ago? Maybe 4 years ago. And she was caught in that, you know how when you get close to retirement because of age and years, they just cut you, right? That's what happened to her. And she was at that time with her bonus and all, she was like in the high 90s. Well, Renee was laid off, and she started pursuing other opportunities. So she, did substitute teaching and all this sort of thing. So she finally found another position with a government contractor with the Affordable Care Act and all that kind of stuff. And she worked on that with her training and quality assurance background and her operations background. That contract wasn't renewed. She only stayed on that job for 4 years. So about a month ago, she lost that job. Okay? But she said to me, she said something to me. She said, "Ma, now I can really look for what I want to do that's going to make me happy." Guess what's going to make my daughter happy? She's got an opportunity to do this only because of her positive thinking, because of her networking, because of her transferable skills. How she wrote her resume, which her mother helped her do. That her mother helped her to do. My daughter went for an interview with CarMax, and her father and I said, "Really, Renee?" She said, "Yeah, because she loves cars." Number one, she loves cars. She knows more about cars than probably anybody I know. She loves cars. And she said, "Mom, that's why I could." They loved her resume. They called her in to be a sales associate. But after viewing her resume and her functional areas of success and accomplishments, her problem-solving skills, her results-oriented skills, her training skills, her management and operations skills, you know what they said? Forget the sales associate, we want you to be a manager. My daughter said 5 interviews there. 5. Because now they want to put her on a career track. She's yet to get the final offer to do the work because they put her through all kinds of batteries of tests. Okay? But she's changing industries. She's changed now into a third industry because of what?
Good attitude.
Good attitude, and what else?
Transferable skills.
The transferable skills. That's what I'm saying, folks. Don't look at the job title, the position. Look at the transferable skills. And if you want to be competitive in today's market, you can't worry about staying in that comfortable industry where you were. You've got to jump out there. Because employers are looking for those transferable skills. You can learn the industry. With a little bit of hard work, you can learn the industry. You have to start like rebranding yourself. For me, for instance, I've been doing this kind of work for 25, 30 years. And I'll be honest with you, I'm getting tired of traveling. I really am getting tired of traveling. One of the things that was going to be a pushback for me, and I realized that I need to stay in demand too, because this is my sole source of income. One of the pushbacks for me was doing webinars, because I told you, what do I get? I get energy face to face. Not on a computer, not on a camera, and you see me, and I see people, raising their hands. And that is not me. But guess what? My daughter said, and my grandson said, "Ma," my grandson calls me Mimi, "you gotta get there because that's where it goes. The webinar is it." And I started thinking about it, and I said, "Oh, that's not me." But the positive is I don't have to travel a lot. I don't have to go to all these cities all over the country. I can have them all in my office, right? So I got over that really fast. And I got to just let my clients and vendors know, hey, look, I'll do a webinar for you any day now. Because you know what? Guess what else I did with that? I made them fun too.
I didn't realize how highly interactive webinars could be. Because one of my things is, well, what about putting people in groups and teams and, you know, because they're doing exercises, and I want to go around and see how we can do that with webinars. The technology is out there to do this kind of stuff. So stay on top of your game, okay? You know, don't be afraid to jump out there and take a risk in doing something that you've never done before. I've never done webinars before, and I never wanted to. I mean, I don't even like taking them. I mean, I've got to, for instance, for my teaching license, I've got to take, you know, these courses online. I hate it. I want to talk to the instructor, you know. But hey, you got to stay with the future here. You got to stay with the future.
Michele, is this an opportunity perhaps to ask anyone else about leaps they've taken?
Sure,
you know, you
good
talked
point.
about changes you made.
Yeah, good point.
I think some people in the room will know that I've got them in mind when I'm mentioning this idea.
You must have a reason.
That, you know, at our stage in life, we see this a lot here at 40 Plus, where individuals have had tremendous success and longevity in one area or one sector or one industry, whether it's the government or private sector and so forth. And for whatever reason, they have chosen, they're looking at other things, or they want to pursue other opportunities, or as you mentioned with your daughter, there's been a business situation and that work's no longer available, or that path is no longer open to them. Anybody else had that sort of kind of circumstance where you're in one lane and had to move?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was with the World Bank as an education specialist for 17 years doing capacity building. And they got rid of the part of the bank I was with, and people were fighting for territory and going back, and I thought, I have another good 10 to 15 years of work ahead of me, and I can either fight and scrap it out to hold on to my piece of territory and be inwardly focused, or I could take the buyout and the generous tuition benefits and go back to school. So I just finished a MBA in sustainable management.
Oh, good for you.
And now I'm back trying to look at how to build on all those years of working with youth and education and the business skills to hopefully kind of help people get the skills they need to go on. But it's scary.
It is scary, no doubt.
I had a track I was going, I could see the 62 retirement, nice pension building.
Yes, ma'am. It is scary, isn't it? Isn't it? But nothing beats a failure but a try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing beats a failure but a try. And it is scary. And you want to know something? What I've learned over the years, my experiences, is that I really don't have anything to lose if I do fail. Does that make sense to you?
You already have no.
Yeah.
So if you try it, you might get yes.
Yes, absolutely. What do I have to lose to try this? I won't know if I don't try. And if I do lose, I want to learn something from it. You got it's this whole thing is about mindsets and changing your behaviors and changing your attitude, because I mean, I'm a firm believer that whatever you project out there, that's what you're going to receive. So if you project negativity all the time and you can't do this, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. Okay, so you have to have that can-do attitude. You can't afford not to have that kind of attitude. Okay? Anybody? I'm glad you asked that.
Other stories of transition, leaps?
Yeah.
I am making a transition into cybersecurity. I used to work with a web publishing company, and they decided to automate that. But gave me a whole bunch of freedom all of a sudden. I decided to make the transition into cybersecurity. I got a master's degree, so now I'm looking to put that to work. But you're mentioning of webinars. I had an interesting experience this summer where a professor at the school where I went put me in contact with the guy that runs a company that does seminars and webinars, and So I was talking with him, he said, we could, probably put you to work being a moderator on a webinar. And I was like, whoa. Because I
He has that voice, doesn't he? Yes, Ron. Now, you never thought of that, had you?
I had not. And so
That's right.
we did the webinar, and I felt like I did a decent job, and he was very pleased with it. And
that's a natural asset. You don't even know your ability.
More and more jobs are opening up at NPR every day. News, you can talk news too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's a good story. Anybody else? Okay. Who's fearful of stepping out there? And what is it that we can do to help you? Yes.
I'm getting
the signal.
So I've spent 30 years climbing the corporate ladder through corporate treasury departments. Well, I was assistant treasurer of one of the largest companies in America. And I got to a point where I decided I didn't want to do that anymore because I wasn't happy.
You weren't happy.
And now I'm slowly but surely trying to ease my way into higher education.
Okay.
And with a small amount of success to start with. And
okay.
Working on some other things.
And that's what it takes. One step, moving forward. Okay? And as long as you're moving forward, you're not moving back.
And Eric, what is it about higher education that drew you there?
Well, I have always had a little bit of a tendency to want to hold forth and educate. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding I really enjoy being in a room full of undergraduate business students because I like being the only person in the room who knows everything.
Oh, right. That builds your self-confidence, Eric.
Will they let you really feel that way, though?
They do. They're extraordinary that way, actually.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
They're very nice.
Molding your mind.
They're extremely discouraging.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to put this up here to close out. What does that say? You are your own brand. Mm-hmm. You are. Every one of us is unique. We can all be subject matter experts in the same thing, but you have your own unique way of delivering it, transferring it, sharing it, communicating it. Okay? So realize your potential. Okay? Realize what you can do and be committed to it. Don't give up. Don't listen to naysayers. Be on that road where there might be bumps and humps, but guess what? You're not going to get to the next level, whether it's this way, that way, unless you go through this process. Okay? So thank you very much for having me share this information with you. I hope it was helpful, and you can use it, as you move forward.
Michele, thank you very much. Appreciate that, especially in light of your whirlwind travel experiences in the last 36 hours.
You guys have me on an emotional high right now, so I'm great. Thanks.
I really appreciate that. So, and thanks everyone for coming. We realize Thursdays are busy.
Just a moment.
But Eric has one more thing.
Just 1 second.
Oh, and while we're waiting on the air, please take a moment, share your feedback. If there are topics that you'd like us to work on here at 40 Plus, either for our evening events, as Eric described, we try to make those a little broader around professional development, or other topics.
So, Michele, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your experiences with us. And we'd like to give you a little token of appreciation, something new at 40 Plus. So you can remember us every morning over your coffee.
Can I see the 40?
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we still have some snacks at the back, so.
Yeah, please enjoy.